Just look at Texas, the Lone Star state, in that a Lone Star is what most people would give Texas on Yelp.
We have to figure out how a country can solve any problem if so many of its people are so intractably, astoundingly, mind-numbingly stupid.
Texas Senate pushed through a pair of bills that would bring religion back into public school classrooms. One bill would allow time for students and staff to pray at school. The other would require the 10 Commandments be posted in every public school classroom.
I want to talk about the Holy Bible in Texas.
I'm not saying that as hyperbole or just out of frustration. I mean, this country just might be empirically, verifiably too fucking dumb to continue.
I'm not politically correct. I'm politically incorrect. I'm like Donald Trump on steroids, sweetheart. So get ready to have some fun reading my Twitter feed.
That guy's overall look can only be described as guy kicked out of your gym for trying to smell women. In his defense, I'll say this, he's not overselling his Twitter feed, because in just the 48 hours after his election, he actually tweeted, "I am the face of the Republican Party, and I like boobies."
Old is new again.
The point is, this guy is now an actual elected official, chair of the Travis County Republican Party.
Do you think Hillary Clinton would swallow your cum, or would it be more of a Lorena Bobbitt type situation?
You don't have to actually know anything, which used to be the mission of schools, knowing things. I know it's super important to stop the grooming of our kids, or, I don't know, to start it, and certainly critical race theory must be stricken from the curriculum, or who knows, maybe included in all of it. But, you know, while we're having those fights, could someone please notice that the kids don't actually know anything?
Now, the 10 Commandments seems like an odd thing to have in a classroom. We're having trouble getting the kids to read anything, especially since they've taken all the books. So they're gonna replace it with this bullshit?
A North Texas Republican state senator wrote the 10 Commandments bill, and he says the 10 Commandments are a part of American heritage.
You almost get the impression that Republicans are full of shit.
That is 14 million kids who are in closer proximity to a pair of handcuffs than they are to a medical or mental health professional.
To hear Republicans tell it, oh, there's a moral dilemma in America. There's a culture war. They're coming for your children, and if they can't get them, they're gonna turn them trans. The only way to stop it, this book right here. So I thought it'd be a good time to, you know, take a look at what your kids will have in every classroom in Texas, shall we?
But groups who oppose the bill say it promotes one religion in taxpayer-funded public schools.
I am the Lord your God. There shall be no other gods before me. That seems problematic. For the sons of Abraham, the Jews, the Christians, and the Muslims, we can deal. We all have the same God. Did you know that? You do. But I'll move on.
School police are not the answer to school shootings. The answer to that is gun control.
17 ayes for.
The Republican majority Texas Senate voted along party lines to pass a bill that would require the 10 Commandments to be prominently displayed in every public school and public charter school classroom. It requires the commandments to be displayed on a 16 by 20 inch poster or framed copy, starting with the text, "I am the Lord thy God."
There's some 500 other gods. In fact, I think there's actually 1,400 around the world, including the Amazon River god, which is actually an alligator, they believe, that controls the whole river and runs their lives and brings the rain. Now, seems to me that some people deep inside the jungle of Brazil might have a problem with that. But I don't know. I'm not that.
Weatherford Republican State Senator Phil King wrote the bill.
What Senate Bill 1550 does is simply says that in every public school classroom in the state of Texas, there shall be posted a copy of the 10 Commandments.
Thou shalt not take the Lord's name in vain. Well, goddamn. That seems a bit problematic. we'll get past that. Thou shalt keep the Sabbath. Because you know the seventh day is for the Lord. Now, for some reason, has got us all going to church on Sunday. But that's not what it says here. It says on the seventh day, you shall rest. That's Saturday, y'all. So now I'm confused with the calendar. But, you know, like I said, this whole thing's problematic.
She's running a successful campaign for a place on the Texas State Board of Education. So let's find out some more about her.
Brennan has recently come under fire online for some passionately stated opinions she holds, including the idea that global warming was made up to promote global socialism and that President Obama paid for drug addiction in his 20s through homosexual prostitution.
Honor thy father and mother. Well, I certainly try to do that. But you know, there's a lot of kids here in Texas that don't have a father or a mother. And fixing to have a lot more that were born because their father raped their mother when she was 12 or 14. So, do you honor the raped mother, incest victim, or do you honor the rapist? Or is that doesn't seem to cover that here. I didn't see. Like I say, it's problematic.
Prescribes the exact same language for the Ten Commandments, which is on our own Capitol grounds and which has been approved by the Texas and the U.S. Supreme Courts.
King says Texas schools had the Ten Commandments in the classroom in the 70s, and a court ruling removed them nationwide in 1980.
Hey, here's one we can all get behind. Thou shalt not kill. Oh, I'm sorry. When I say all, I mean, you know, civilized people, not Republicans. Republicans sell machines in this state where it makes it possible to kill 20 or 30 people in just a few minutes. It works great on kids. Thou shalt not kill seems to be the one the Republicans are happy to negotiate with. Well, the one so far.
You're specifically putting something like the 10 Commandments up on a classroom for all students to see. That's incredibly dangerous because in a state as big as Texas, right, we have people of all kinds of faith.
Shalt not commit adultery. Well, that's going to be a real problem for a bunch of Republicans. Hey, quite a few Democrats too. But fortunately, you know, that really shouldn't apply here because, I mean, these are, you know, school kids. You know, they're not going to be, oh, what's that? Oh, in Texas, they can get married when they're 12. Right. Because, you know, school kids might need to know that. To not commit adultery. You know, on the 40-year-old man that the church is forcing him to marry. I'm sure there's something in here about that. Don't have time in this video. We'll come back to that another time.
That people on welfare who also have a drug habit, how do they think they pay for their drugs? Well, they steal, they prostitute themselves.
You know what else is problematic? This book has red print in it for the words that were actually spoken by Jesus. According to this book, that a rich man has to give away all of his possessions to join Jesus in heaven. All of them. That's what Jesus said. That's a bit problematic.
Say what you will about that woman, I would read any history textbook she had a part in creating. Wait, Teddy Roosevelt fathered an illegitimate child that was half human, half bear. Why did nobody tell me this? Education is fun, I yearn to learn.
Because according to this book, Jesus said that you are to feed the poor, and to clothe the poor, and to house the poor, and to bring them into your home, and let them eat at your table as if they were a member of your family. Don't y'all believe in Jesus? You talk about it all the time.
This bill creates a blanket rule that promotes Christianity above other religions.
Could you imagine a Republican actually trying to save one that's in his way on the sidewalk? That poor homeless man will be lucky if the guy just steps over and walks on. More than likely, in this state, they'll call the cops. You know, because that's the Christian thing to do.
In another move to install religion in public schools, the state Senate also passed a bill that calls for public and charter schools to adopt policies setting aside time for students and employees to read the Bible.
Thou shalt not steal. Well, this absolutely we can all get behind. It's wrong to steal from anybody. You shouldn't take from, poor people. You shouldn't take from rich people.
Texas State Board of Education is not known for having the least controversial personnel in the country, but she seems extreme even for them. She's previously written that the dinosaurs were on Noah's Ark, but went extinct afterward because, and I quote, they may have been babies and not able to reproduce. It might make sense to take the small dinosaurs onto the Ark instead of the ones bigger than a bus.
And you darn sure shouldn't take from every single American by not paying your taxes, but yet still using the roads.
Which is clearly scientifically wrong. The reason we don't have dinosaurs isn't because they were too small to have sex. It's because nobody fucks on a cruise.
Neither shall thou bear false witness. Well, that's gonna be our problem, okay? Now, Clarence Thomas knows that. He's going back 13 years to fix the documents that he lied on. Because, lying is wrong.
I think Barack Obama is a gay man who got married. Bill Clinton, serial rapist. Hillary Clinton, rampaging bisexual adulterer.
Personally is my favorite commandment, but it's really, really problematic, especially for, say, 10 to 15-year-old boys. I would suggest that just having this on the wall might make some people completely disregard everything on the list.
This is American tradition. If schools in Texas do not have it in their funding to do that, they can't accept private dollars for this.
Because if you don't think that every boy in junior high is coveting that girl across the aisle, then you don't have any idea what sin even is. How can you even call yourself a Christian?
Current school board member saying Brunner would be a human rain delay, and the Texas governor's office issuing the statement, Robert Morrow in no way speaks for the Republican Party or its values. But doesn't he, though?
Not Republicans, of course, because they're pious and they're good Christians. It's the Democrats that do that. Republicans are what's what I'm looking for? Christian.
Meanwhile, today, the Texas House Public Education Committee passed out a bill that would allow school districts to hire chaplains in place of counselors.
I'm just glad that we have come to a place in Texas where the family comes first.
I mean, they have blankets that you can put up on the wall that are colorful and beautiful, but they're ballistic blankets.
I'm oh so glad the Republicans are gonna pick a nominee that epitomizes the American Christian.
That are colorful and beautiful.
Y'all take it easy. I'm Zachariah, Lone Star Liberal.
Because in this election cycle, it'd be a lot easier to argue that your party shouldn't be judged by people who spread weird Obama conspiracy theories and brag about their dicks, if that didn't also accurately describe your presumptive nominee for the presidency. It's a weird election time we're going through.